Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how to let go and manifest your heart's desire. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I got an email from a subscriber who said, Tom, I've been focused on manifesting my heart's desire for a long time now. I've had the dream of opening up my own design business, my fashion design business. And I feel like I've been in this wish fulfilled for a long time. And what happens is something happens inevitably. I'm around people or an event happens that triggers fear that it won't ever happen. And then I get in this sort of downward cycle of negative emotion. And then I get back in my wish fulfilled and I'm feeling good, and then something else triggers it again. How do I break this cycle? How do I manifest my heart's desire? Guys, we're going to unpack that today and more. So the first thing I want to say, all negative emotion, all of it, whether it's fear, anger, frustration, whatever it is, impatience, it all comes from wanting things to be different than they currently are. Hear this. This is big. We've talked about this before, right? But this is powerful, right? And so what do we do? And then we have this negative emotion, and then we instead of allowing ourselves to feel it and allowing that emotion to pass through us, we hold on to it. We either suppress it, meaning we avoid it, or we don't want to deal with it at that time, or it gets repressed, right? Unconsciously we repress it. Unconsciously it gets pushed down into our subconscious because it's so fearful, or it's such a strong emotion we don't even want to deal with it. Or we try to deal with it, right? We express it, right? This is where we take our anger out on somebody else, or we project it onto the 3D world or other people. Or we try to escape it by keeping ourselves busy or running away from it, right? All of those things, though, keep that emotion, that negative emotion in your body suppressed. Some part of it is still suppressed within or repressed in your subconscious, right? And then so Dr. David R. Hawkins, in his book, Letting Go, comes up with a beautiful, elegant, simple solution to letting go of all negative emotion and getting closer to who you really are, closer to the feeling of love, clarity, joy, and peace, right? And so here's what Hawkins says. Letting go involves being aware of a feeling, letting it come up, staying with it, letting it run its course without wanting to make it different or do anything about it. Hear this. He says it's just being with the feeling. That is the method, right? You could even close your eyes and breathe in, breathe out. Feel the feeling. Don't be afraid of it. Don't run from it. Don't try to project it or run from it or get busy to not feel it. Be with the feeling. It's letting it come up, staying with it, letting it run its course without wanting to make it different. Hear this, right? That's all negative emotion is wanting. You don't want to have the negative feeling, so there's still more wanting something to be different. This is where you turn it around. You're going to be with it. You don't resist it. Right? Whenever you resist something, it continues in your awareness. It continues. That emotion continues with you, right? And you may even make it more prominent, right? You don't try to modify it or change it or judge it or avoid it or try to get rid of it or react to it. None of that. You're just going to be with the emotion. This is what Hawkins says. A feeling that is not resisted will disappear as the energy behind it dissipates. You're releasing the energy behind it. Emotions are just energy, like everything else in the universe and beyond. It's all just energy, and you're releasing it. As you release it, as you're with that emotion, you're just bringing your awareness to it, your I am awareness. That's your gift, who you are. You're bringing that awareness. It dissipates. You'll notice this immediately, right? Where we immediately want to react and blame something on the outside world. We want to project it quickly to a person, events, and circumstances around us. Or blame ourselves, right? Even worse, right? The guilt and the blame, blaming ourselves. We blame ourselves for even having the feeling. So we have a guilt feeling for having the feeling of guilt, or we have a fearful feeling for having the feeling of fear. Wow, we layer that on this, right? And again, this is what Hawkins says. There's not only resistance to the feeling, but also the feelings of fear and guilt over having the feeling, right? Fear of having fear. Guilty of having guilt, right? Let that all go. Let that all be, right? Don't suppress it, right? Consciously trying to suppress it by not dealing with it or not wanting to feel it. Don't allow it to be repressed, meaning it's going to be unconsciously still there. Let it come up, right? Don't try to, and a lot of us think, well, if I express it, if I get angry at someone, if I take it out, then it's out of my system. You heard that expression, I want to get it out of my system. You don't get it out of your system. The acting out on it, expressing it, reacting to it, actually creates a higher amount of that energy or that fear. So yes, you're releasing some of it, but you're really releasing probably the more energy that you're actually creating, and you're repressing the rest. There's a huge residual, even after you express it. So that doesn't help it, right? It's not about getting it out of your system and taking it out on the people, events, and circumstances around you, right? And then you try to escape it, keep yourself busy. But here's the thing, no matter how many vacations you take, no matter how many glasses of wine you have, no matter how much you work or keep yourself busy, it's gonna still be there. Be with the feeling. This is a brilliant way of letting go. And even in the term letting go, I know there feels even to be resistance in that. So think of it as more of acceptance, allowing it to be, right? Accepting, allowing it to pass through your body. Just like we allow and accept positive emotions. We don't resist those. It's not like, oh, I'm going to resist that joy or that happiness. We don't resist that, right? We allow it to pass through us. And so it's only the resistance of that negative emotion that keeps it prominent, that keeps it within our body. Allow it, just like positive emotion, allow it to pass through your system, right? Allow it to pass through your body, right? Allow it to pass through. That's allowance. That's acceptance, right? So if you don't like the word letting go, use allowing it to pass through, right? And again, it's only our thoughts, right? Remember that those feelings create thoughts, right? You're going to have one original experience, and then they create thoughts around that feeling. When you release the feeling, it reuses all those thoughts around it, right? The thoughts are not helpful, right? They're only trying to justify or rationalize why you should feel that feeling. You go, well, they really did me wrong. Right? And you create more, and then more people do you wrong. And so you have more feelings and more thoughts about that. And so as soon as you start letting go of those feelings, you're letting go of all of those hundreds or thousands of thoughts attached to it. Right? And it's not a one-time thing. Remember, when you're releasing those feelings, that negative emotion, you're releasing more and more of the suppressed emotions. So you're going to feel good, but it's a continual, like Jesus said, continual forgiveness of sin, right? How many times should you forgive them? 70 times 7, right? A continual forgiveness of sin, a continual release of that negative emotion, right? This is what happens. Once you stop blaming the 3D world, stop using thoughts as excuses to rationalize things. Stop making excuses. You start to realize that you're not your thoughts and feelings, that you are this awareness, this something much deeper, more powerful, more clear, holy, divine you, right? You start feeling that, right? The real reason for the feeling is the accumulated pressure behind the feeling that is forcing it to come up in the moment. Here's what Hawkins is saying, right? The reason is not the 3D world. The reason is not those people, events, and circumstances. The real reason is that it's accumulated pressure, right? That trigger is only pointing to that pressure that's been building within of those suppressed and repressed feelings at the moment. Then they come up at that moment. Right? That's the time to just be with them and let them pass through, right? All fear and negative emotion is related to our basic fear of survival. This is what Hawkins says, right? And this is it. We buy into this belief in the 3D world of this fear of death, the ultimate fear, right? Not feeling immortal. Right? It's that insecurity. It's always there. It's that subtle, even if it's a subtle feeling that we're buried, it's always there, that fear of survival, right? That's a program. So we're not It's not about solving any problem. It's about undoing the cause, right? We're undoing the program, right? By letting that negative emotion pass through us, that natural, who we naturally are, that joy, that love, that peace bubbles up. It now has room to show it. It now has room to show you who you really are. That's big. And so really what I want to say is to be surrendered puts you in the ultimate state of allowing. Allowing what? Allowing your heart's desire. Allowing it to be, do, or have whatever your heart's desire, right? When you're dealing with negative emotions, that keeps you from it. And again, all negative emotions is wanting things to be different than they are. It's already yours, right? And so what does Hawkins say? When you get in this state of allowing, this ultimate surrendered state, there's no strong emotion about a thing, right? This really gets into the idea of dropping importance, right? It's not that it's not important to you. It's just that you don't have a strong emotion. You're okay if it happens and you're okay if it doesn't. Why? Because you enjoy it, but you don't need it to be whole and happy. You already are. That's what surrendering does. That's what letting go does. When you let this negative emotion go, it releases the attachments, right? And when the feeling, and so the other question is, well, but I do that, but then another event happens and it triggers even more negative emotion. Remember, you're releasing, it's continual forgiveness of sin. There's a lot of baggage there in that subconscious, a lot of suppressed emotions. And the more you release it, the more you're letting the related thoughts go, and the lighter you get, right? When the feeling returns, it just means there's more to let go. It doesn't mean you've regressed. It doesn't mean it has returned. It just means there's more negative emotion to let go. Hear this. You've already let go of a lot of it, but you're letting go of more, right? That's the idea. Don't resist anything. And this is real key. Don't resist the resistance. The resistance is it's not working. I feel that negative emotion again. It's not the same negative emotion. You've already released that. It's more suppressed emotions. So get away from resisting the resistance. That just causes more new negative emotion that you'll end up either having to let go or you'll end up suppressing. Right? This is big. We're always looking. This is brilliant. Here's what Hawkins says. He says it's like shoveling coal, right? You're always looking at the shovel that we're handling right now. When you're shoveling coal, you're looking, oh, that's a lot of coal. As opposed to looking at how the pile of coal is going down. Hear this. This is brilliant, right? So we're releasing that negative emotion. And as triggers come up, we're being with it. Right? As triggers come up. We're being with that emotion. But then we keep looking at the emotion that we're feeling at the moment. We're looking at that shovel full of coal and not at the pile behind us that's gone down to almost nothing. Hear this. And so when you start staring at that shovel and that shovel of coal, you create more negative emotion that gets put back into the pile. It's just like taking the coal and dumping it back into the pile. Instead, focus on how it's going down. You're becoming freer, you're becoming lighter, you're becoming more who you really are. Wow, that's big, right? So don't resist the resistance. Be with that changeless witness within. That changeless witness is you. That's the real you, right? That real joy, that real peace, that real calm, right? So, and also Hawkins, when he's talking about this process of letting go, which is really such a simple and elegant process, he also brings up these bogus beliefs, these common beliefs that we all have heard of, and they become part of our psyche, they become part of our subconscious. Drop these bogus beliefs now. Here they are. If we let go of a desire for something, we won't get it. That is fantasy, it's bogus, it's untrue. Now, and I'm not even saying that you should let go of your desire. You should let go of the negative emotion attached to it. You should let go of the constant wanting and longing for it, right? But even so, if you let go of the desire and say, okay, I already got it, I'm not going to think about it anymore. There's nothing to worry. It's impossible that you won't get it. It must be fulfilled. It's already created. Hear this, the mental image is already created. The mental duplicate is already created on the other side in the invisible realm. And so it must come, right? And then here's the second one. We only deserve things through hard work, struggle, and sacrifice and effort. Bogus, bogus, bogus. It's all yours. It's your inherited. You were born with it. You were born worthy. You were born to be, do, or have whatever your heart desires. It's not about working for it. It's about aligning up for it, aligning with it. It's about lining up with it. Hear this. It's not about working or struggling. It's about being it. It's about aligning with it. It's about choosing it. It's about accepting it. It's about allowing that good to come to you, right? The third one, suffering is good for you. Suffering is optional. And it doesn't help you, right? We justify it. That's our thoughts, right? This is good. This negative emotion is good. I'm suffering, but so when I come out in the other end, I'm going to be stronger and better. You don't need any of it. You already are invincible. You are already strong beyond words, right? There's a strength that's beyond the 3D world, the puny measurement of things in the 3D world, right? You don't have to suffer ever. That's always optional, right? You don't get anything for nothing. You get it all. You get it all for just who you are. But we can't believe it, right? And so we create struggle, strife, obstacles, problems to work for it so we feel worthy of getting it. You only have to choose it, accept it, and allow that good to come to you because it already is within you, right? And then things that are simple aren't worth much. Just like this letting go process. It's simple, it's clean, it's beautiful. The universe is built on a beautiful simplicity. Right? The path of least resistance. That's what nature always takes. Right? It's simple and it's beautiful. And so the ancients said it 2,000 years ago. They had the formula for all of this, for the letting go, for the negative emotion, for all of it, for living our heart's desire. Be still and know that I am God. Be still. In the NASB, it says cease striving. Be still. Right? And let that emotion pass through you. Know that you're God. Know when you let that negative emotion pass through you, that who you really are will bubble up. And then everything just comes to you. Right? That's how it is. That is how it works because it's already within you. Right? So really, that is how to let go and manifest your heart's desire. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. Hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Karen, or TomKaren.com, or our website at TomKaren.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com, or write me anytime at info@BeSomethingWonderful.com. It's always great to hear from you. Until next time, with great love, this is Tom. See you soon.